Tuesday, September 23rd, 2025 school committee meeting. I call this meeting to order. My name is Ryan McMahon. As a reminder, these meetings are audio and video recorded. We will start with introductions to my left.
Cameron Times, student representative.
Greg Bush.
Anthony Tenorella.
Mike Woodlock, Assistant Superintendent.
Hi, Mike Flanagan, Superintendent.
Danielle Athanas.
Stacy Guido.
Joe Messina, School Business Administrator.
Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
No minutes to approve this week. Citizen time? I see none. Correspondence. Dr. Flanagan.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Two items to bring to your attention. One, I thought was a great brochure that was created by our Student Services Department at the middle school, which they've made available at Open House. It's just kind of a nice opportunity to put a face with a name. So our school psychologist is on that, our school guidance counselor, and our school social worker, middle school. So it was a nice kind of get to know them, a little brochure, so that's available for you to review in your drive. And the second piece of information is I did receive email today from Mrs. Lewenzik recognizing our new CPAC chair and vice chair. So congratulations and thank you to Jen Zulli stepping up as the new CPAC chair and Sarah White as the vice chair. CPAC is the Special Education Parent Action Committee, and essentially they serve as a conduit or a liaison between the happenings in the school, special education department, and parents in the community. So they've actually done a nice job, and they were recognized at the state level already for how they've updated the website on our Tyngsborough page. So if you have an opportunity, please go to the Departments tab and pull down to Student Services and look at the CPAC button there. Hit that link, and we appreciate them, putting Tyngsborough in a good light and getting information out there. So thank you to them.
Excellent. Personnel, we have a notice of request for parental leave. Vincent Papagiorgio, THS special ed teacher. Share the success. Cameron?
All right, we got lots to report on today. At the elementary school, families are invited to join us on Thursday, September 25th from 6 to 7 p.m. as our children guide you on a tour of TES in their classrooms, giving you a glimpse into their school day. The format of our open house is student-led, and they are always so proud to show off their classrooms in our school. Families are encouraged to watch Mrs. Kavanaugh's emails for details about parking. Police detail will be available to assist with traffic. We are excited to announce our 4th annual TES Walkathon. The support we've received from our families and community members over the years has been instrumental in helping our students and staff. This year's walkathon will take place on Thursday, October 22nd during the school day. The middle school held its open house last Tuesday, which was well attended. Parents and guardians were able to follow their child's A-day schedule and meet their child's teachers. Mrs. Leahy is starting an introduction to theater exploration class after school this week. The class will meet for the next month after school on Wednesdays. Middle school sports have started. Both the field hockey team and football team are undefeated after 2 weeks. Additionally, middle school students are participating in JV girls soccer, JV boys soccer, varsity field hockey, and varsity girls cross country. Seniors held a senior sunrise on Friday. This is just one of the events where the class celebrates senior year. Open house is Wednesday from 6:30 to 8:30. School counseling has arranged 2 college trips. Seniors will be visiting Southern New Hampshire University and UMass Lowell this fall. And lastly, congratulations to September Students of the Month, Tessa Anderson, Jacob Durant, Neil Patel, and Cameron Times. That's it. Thanks.
Thank you.
So awkward doing that, isn't that? I'd like everyone to congratulate me.
Subcommittee update. We will hear from the policy subcommittee later in the agenda.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to take item 9A out of order.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That carries 5-0-0. Mr. Manager?
You guys want to go up in your seats? I'll call family. Between you and Cole. Second. Just wanted me to get to the microphone and.
We're going to give family and friends a minute to come in.
We do. We're packing the
Love
audience
it.
today.
Love it.
They keep coming. It's great.
It's good. It's excellent. It's great. And there are thousands of people at home watching.
Millions.
So thanks so much for having TMS join us tonight. Just to let you know, we have 6 representatives, 2 from each grades, and they're going to talk to you a little bit about not only their transition to a new school, a new building, but also to a new grade. So we're going to have Juliana and Patrick give us the perspective of 6th grade. We're going to have Lily and Cole tell us a little bit about how venturing into 7th grade is going, and then James and CJ, who are the 8th graders who are kind of running the show, are going to give us their expertise on what's happening. So I'm going to start off with Juliana. Juliana, if you can just remember to talk into the mic, and I'm going to give you guys a little bit more space.
Hi, my name is Juliana Hathaway, and I'm a 6th grader. I'm so excited that I get to be in this brand new school and everything that has to come with it. I love all the new opportunities and responsibilities that we get to experience. Some opportunities that we get to have include having many extracurriculars like the theater program and many sports clubs and teams to offer. There's many big responsibilities in coming to the middle school, like you have to have everything for each class, having to keep track of your grades on through Power School, and making sure you're on time to your classes. With being in the middle school, there's a lot of changes compared to the elementary school, and these new changes we'll have to adapt to. We have to get used to waking up in the morning, which is definitely not the best. Having your homework done the night before, and making sure your Chromebook is charged. For me, I personally love the 15 minutes of freedom in the morning that we get to settle into our classrooms or to hang out in the seating area and talk with friends. I also love the very spacious and bright hallways so we can easily walk and access the halls. I'm so excited for the next 3 years at the middle school. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Patrick, and I'm from 6th grade. Coming from elementary school to the brand new middle school was a big change. New teachers, new layout, new food options, and older students. I, along with my classmates, felt a lot of different emotions, including excitement and nervousness. We knew we would get through the next chapters together. One of my favorite new changes are all of the food options in the cafeteria. Whether you like sandwiches and salads, pizza, Italian, or other types of food, there's something for everyone. Besides the food options, being able to sit in different areas throughout the cafeteria is a fun feature to the new school. You can sit outside in a booth at a high table or at a long table with a group of friends. Lunchtime is fun. Another favorite change is switching classes. I think it is helpful to keep your body moving throughout the day and be able to refocus on different subjects by physically moving from one room to another. You get to learn more subjects throughout the week and get to experience different teachers' ways of teaching. You get to become familiar with other students you wouldn't normally spend time with if you only had one classroom and one teacher. The gym is my personal favorite. I can't wait until the day I get to play basketball on the new shiny court. I know a lot of my friends are going to experience some of the best memories of their lives in this gym throughout the next 3 years. I am looking forward to spending the next 3 years in the new school.
Hi, my name is Lily. I'm in 7th grade. I was excited to start the school year in a brand new middle school. The hallways are really big and open, making room for the students to walk through without bumping each other. The building has air conditioning, making it more comfortable during class. The school is really big but easy to navigate. The art room is my favorite. I can't wait to start the art class next semester. It has beautiful space and all new materials, including a kiln for pottery making. The school even has its own theater box, which I'm really excited about because I love theater. Everything is so new and clean, and it feels refreshing to be in such beautiful space to learn. There are so many exciting opportunities here at the Tyngsborough Middle School. We have great resources and technology available during the school day, but also after school. There's a robotics club that I have heard is educational and fun. I participate in cross country, which is one of many sports the school offers. I love that students of different grades can come together to be on one team, and we can learn from each other and come together and be friends on one team. I also participate in theater, which has great opportunities for students to be on stage, but also behind the scenes. I worked both on stage and off stage on the set, and I love working with kids in all different grades, including high school. I made a lot of new friends last year, many of which seniors who took me under their wing made me feel included even though I was young and in 6th grade. I love that high school and middle school can come together to create something special and entertaining for everyone to see through the theater program. Miss Leahy is the best director and connects with the students, showing truly cares about us. We all feel like a family in theater, which is really special because we spend a lot of time away from our families to make it feel nice to have a school after school. I think this year is off to a great start. I can see a lot of happiness in the classrooms, which both the students with the teachers have the new school with all the great updates making learning more exciting. The school is modern and beautiful, and I think that is great reflecting off of this town. It took a lot of while to build this building and a lot of effort by everyone involved, and it all came together in a beautiful way. I hope this town and the community can enjoy the school from the years to come. It makes me feel so proud that I am a student here in the middle school. One day I would love for my own kids to come here. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Cole, and this year in TMS has been a great transition from 6th grade to 7th grade, although the first few days were a little tough navigating the new school. Some of the problems I had when I first walked into the new middle school were figuring out where to go for my classrooms. There was not too much guidance of where to go. I do wish that the teachers next year will help the new students navigate the school just a bit better, especially if they did not go to any sort of open house or get a map of the school. Some of the positives of a new school were having a cleaner environment, more comfortable seating, having our own gym, and the hallways and classrooms being much larger. The teachers were very welcoming and kind to us upon arrival. It felt as if I was more prepared this year for 7th grade because of knowing that the work deadlines would be a little bit quicker, to whereas last year I was a bit unprepared for the amount of work and using your time wisely. Teachers this year have made it very easy for me to study and get my work done because they have provided multiple ways for me to do my work, whether that be paper or online. Each teacher made it easy for me to study by giving me notes, flashcards, or in-class games. Overall, this year has been a great transition going into the new middle school for years to come.
Good evening, I am CJ Mulcahy and I'm an 8th grader in TMS. I want to start off by saying it is an honor to be sitting here in front of you all, and I'm so thankful that I got this opportunity. TMS throughout the years has been an amazing experience for me and others, and given us so many opportunities to pursue our dreams and goals. I'm sure I speak for everyone when I say that I'm so thankful for the new building. We have so many new spaces to work productively in our class and outside of school as well. I partake in the Tyngsborough theater program, and we are so lucky to have all these new spaces to work. I'm looking forward to having a bigger stage we are also provided with the new black box room to practice choreography and other rehearsals. Going along with the new building, the new rooms also provide us a larger and more comfortable learning environment with flexible seating so that everyone can learn to their best abilities. This is my first year of having what I need, win period, every day. It's very helpful for those that have uncompleted work or need extra help. Some of my favorite classes are Applications of Science Principles, ASP, and English Language Arts, ELA. In ASP, we take a deeper look into the world of science, such as learning about air pressure and chemistry. ELA is a very hands-on learning experience where we get to have class discussions and readings all the time. I personally love reading and writing, so I love getting this opportunity to share my thoughts and ideas with my fellow peers. I'm looking forward to joining clubs and being an even bigger part of this amazing school. I'm very proud to be a part of this community, and I can't wait to see what great things are coming our way. Thank you.
Hello, my name is James Byther, and I am in the 8th grade at Tyngsborough Middle School. This year is my first and last year in the new middle school, but I cannot complain about this brand new school. It has amazing air conditioning, much more colorful rooms and hallways, and very comfortable furniture. It's not fully hit me yet that this is my last year in middle school, and soon I will be a high schooler. It feels much different being an 8th grader compared to being an 8th grader, with having more responsibilities, flexibility, and independence. One thing that I'm looking forward to as an 8th grader is the Washington, D.C. trip. I'm also looking forward to my third and final middle school basketball season and playing lacrosse for the high school this spring. Overall, I believe that the brand new middle school in Tyngsborough will be the best school I'll be in for a while.
Wonderful job, guys. Thank you very much. We'll open up to the committee for some questions, comments.
I have a couple of fun questions. All right, so my kids have said the food is so much better this year than last year, whether it's you were at the elementary school last year or even from last year's middle school, just I don't know if it's the new building or the vibe or whatever. So my first question is, what's your favorite thing that you've had in the new cafeteria this year to eat? Mr. Messina is taking notes, so.
Mine was probably like the orange chicken that they served on like the 5th day of school. That was pretty good.
Mine was probably the margarita pizza.
Mine is probably the chicken.
I think my favorite was the pepperoni pizza because I think the kitchens are actually a little bit cleaner, which just makes it taste better.
My favorite were probably the dumplings that they served today.
My favorite is probably the buffalo chicken.
So I'm hearing we're all crashing for lunch. Is that what I'm hearing? All right. My other fun question is one of my favorite things about the new building is the cool furniture in the classrooms. Like even the regular chairs are kind of fun and flexible. So what's your favorite like seating that you've got over there in your classrooms?
I like the gray high top chairs that they have in the classrooms with the bigger tables and like the taller ones. Those are probably would be my favorite.
Probably the normal chairs. I just like them a lot better than the other school.
Mine is probably the stand-up, like the standing tables, because it's able to like move your body and not be just stuck in a chair all day and sitting.
I think my favorite is the red chairs that they give us as like most of the people in the classroom sit in, because you can kind of rock back and forth with them if you get like fidgety during class, and they're a lot more flexible.
I also like the tall seating tables because they allow me to like kick my feet if I get bored.
I like the standing desks.
I like the egg chairs. Whenever I go over there, I sit in the egg chairs and I want to take a nap.
And that booth in the media center, man.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
my favorite.
You good?
I'm good.
I just want to say, Patrick, I am also very excited about the new gym, and I cannot wait to go to basketball games in there. And I know quite a few kids that cannot wait to play their youth travel and rec games in there. So I agree 100%. I was excited that you said that. I've already checked it out, and we're ready to see you guys play basketball in there. I just love when you guys come in because it can get kind of boring in here just listening to these guys. So it's exciting when you come in, and it's nice to hear your perspective. We've walked in the building, and obviously we're really excited about it, and we think it looks cool. But it's nice to hear what you guys think about it and how it's working for you, the different seating arrangements that you like, or how you feel about the bigger hallways, the different options that you get to sit in at lunch. It's nice to hear that feedback and hear what you guys like and what's working for you, how different transitions are working for you. That helps us. So thank you for coming in. You all did a great job. I don't actually have any questions.
I would just like to say that there's a lot of adults who couldn't do what the six of you just did, sitting up there and reading in front of all of us with millions of people at home watching. You did a great job. Thank you to all the parents for taking the time to come down, allowing your kids to do this for us this evening. Dr. Flanagan spent hours in North Carolina trying out all that furniture you guys are sitting in. So you can thank him for the most comfortable furniture. You are going to the newest, greatest school in the state of Massachusetts. And you also owe that to the people in this room, your friends, your families, all the voters in Tyngsborough who continue to vote to support Tyngsborough Public Schools. So thank you to all of you and to all of them for that beautiful building we have over there. Corey, is that your name?
Right here, Cole.
Oh, Cole, I'm sorry. You mentioned the transition coming in. What do you think we could do differently for the students coming in next year, which was great information?
I think possibly they could have, if it's possible, maybe add someone to help guide some of the students to their classrooms, or give them a number of where to go.
Awesome. Good advice. Thanks. That's it for me.
Thanks, sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just want to say, great presentation. Thank you to parents who came tonight. Actually, I was going to ask Paul about that also. I'm glad you're enjoying the new school. It's a great facility, and I hope you do very well this year.
Excellent. So I heard a lot of common themes, big hallways, big classrooms. A couple of us walked through there last week. I couldn't get over how big the hallways are and how much just the whole feel of the school is completely different from the old middle school. You know, that wall, that giant glass wall right near the calf, and how much light comes through. You know, the outdoor seating with all the different, you know, the booths and the calf. It feels like a food court more than just, you know, the old traditional long tables. So it's really a cool feel over there. I really like it. The theater box, what a great addition that is, huh? I was never a theater guy, but I'm really impressed by that. Whenever I walk in there, I feel like I should have a makeup artist working on us. Yeah, it's a tremendous job. Really appreciate you guys coming out. And good luck.
I just want to say one final thing. There are two more themes that I heard, which we haven't heard in a long time. I'm proud of the school itself. I'm proud to go to that school. I'm excited to go to that school. And I think, you know, having this community rally and give us a first-class facility, give you all a first-class facility is important. But to hear from students that I'm excited to go to that school every single day. I'm proud of what we can accomplish. I'm excited about the learning opportunities in the different classes. You don't hear that a lot from middle school students. So thank you for sharing that with us. That's actually like a TV commercial I want to send back out to the community, say thank you for supporting this project, because that's the byproduct. Yep, beautiful furniture, AC, that's all great. But to get kids excited about going to school and being proud of that and excited to learn, you can't put a number on that. That's incredible. So thank you all for sharing that. I really appreciate that. And that's all I really have.
All right, I'd like to make a motion for a short recess.
I second that.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
A, MSBA update.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We'll jump right in the slide deck. Just a reminder about upcoming meetings. October 7th, our next school committee meeting. We do have two school building committee meetings scheduled here, and I specifically italicized and underlined the November 9th meeting because there is potential after a discussion on our last school building committee meeting that the school building committee will go into a moratorium after that meeting. So that could potentially be our last meeting as a whole group for a while. We will keep the committee intact. We won't disband, but it will just go into moratorium in the event that something comes up and we need to have conversations about spending money. But otherwise, that could be the last school building committee meeting. MSBA updates. So let's jump into this. So the tempered glass, which was supposed to be installed last week, was not. They actually had to repair two railings or swap out two railings because they didn't like the final construction of those. So those were swapped out last weekend. Now that the railings have been swapped out, the goal is to get the tempered glass in around the cafeteria this upcoming weekend, Saturday the 27th. The parking lot, as you can tell, they put the binder down this past weekend. The goal for this week is they'll install the curbing. The curbing has all been strategically placed around the parking lot. The curbing will be installed Wednesday through Friday of this week. After that, they'll work about a week and a half on framing out all the sidewalks. Then they'll have the concrete come and put that in. The plan right now, I want to say, is October 20th as a final pave for that parking lot. After the final pave, they'll do the striping, parking lot will be done. Softball field update. Currently, they are graded the infield to grade. The drainage is in the outfield, and they're putting crushed stone and loom down over that. Then eventually, the sod will go in next week for the outfield. Then they'll put the clay on for the infield, and they'll be wrapping that up within the next few weeks, which is exciting. Shot put and discus area out back, again, that's behind the high school. That work begins on the 29th. The fencing around Pierce Field, we have temporary fencing that's still out there. The goal is to have that fencing completed before homecoming. So we'll still have to keep the drainage things.
Environmental barrier.
Thank you. In for a while. Political science major. And have the permanent fence put in by homecoming. And then finally, last Friday was the last day for anyone in the school to put anything on the punch list. So right now, they've taken the past couple of days to organize all that punch list, all those punch list materials and requests, and say, okay, this is going to be Griffin, this is going to be Ockers, this is going to be our electrician, and have them all come in one at a time and kind of knock things out. So we're working through all of those materials and updates. If we go to the next slide, you can see this is a picture. you know, full disclosure, Mr. Woodlock and I went up to the roof, and then I saw there was a ladder that you had to go up even higher. So Mr. Woodlock went up even higher. Took that picture for us. So I wasn't going up there. Like, no chance. So that was a picture that Mr. Woodlock took from the roof. You can see the parking lot of the softball field. That green along the outside of the softball field was the hydro seed. It actually just been put down that day. You can see there's one section that's kind of not hydro seeded, and that's where the scoreboard will be. So everything's progressing quite nicely at this time. And again, that's just a reminder, so you can get your bearings. That's the back of the high school, and Pierce Field's right there. That's where the shot put and discus area will be, and that begins the week of the 29th. And that is pretty much it for updates with MSBA project.
Excellent. 8B, teaching and learning update. Mr. Woodlock?
All right, thank you. A couple of items tonight. The first one, just wanted to give you an update because we had our first during school meeting of our safety committee. And a lot of people in the community may not even know that we have a regularly meeting safety committee. So we did draft something to be shared in the weekly newsletters, and it was sent out in each of the s'mores for our buildings. But we meet regularly with the chief of police, the fire chief, SRO Gustafson. We have safety liaisons of administrators from each building who focus on school safety and come together for these meetings that we have roughly every 4 or 5 weeks. But that's not the only time we speak with the police department or fire department. We regularly communicate, but we designate these times to get together and talk about topics. And so some of the topics that are kind of our standing topics are reunification. Reunification is an important thing if we ever had to evacuate the school, if we ever had a crisis of some sort. You know, we have places that we would go, plans that we would follow, and agreed upon things, but that's always evolving. You know, that's never going to be something that we can actually do until it were to happen. Hopefully it never happens, but if it does, there are plans in place to do that. Our emergency response protocols, this week we talked about SRO updates, as you know. That was a topic of discussion here. Additional ALICE training opportunities. ALICE is our emergency response protocols that we focus on. New safety and monitoring equipment at TMS. It's a new building. There are new devices and protocols that are in place there. So we're still working out some of the opportunities that we have with the new building as far as safety goes. We're fully operational safety. It's just additional safety protocols and opportunities there. And then we schedule our next meeting, which is next month. So I just wanted to make the committee aware that that is an ongoing meeting and has been, at least since I've been here, and I'm sure since before I've been here, but we have a great collaboration with our first responders here. Any questions on that before I jump into our regularly scheduled programming?
If I could just add one point to that, Mr. Woodlock, one of the things we talked about is, you know, the safety devices and equipment. We went from a middle school that had 16 cameras in the school to a new one that has 93 cameras. So coding those and understanding how they operate and the capacity of that, it takes a lot. So I'm glad they're working on it.
Yeah, and I think with any of the new things, like we're not making decisions. You know, we meet regularly with our construction group every Thursday morning, and these questions come up, and like, that needs to go to our safety meeting. We're not making these decisions without law enforcement and our fire department weighing in on them. So, I mean, it's really it's a positive meeting every time we meet, even though we have to talk about things we may not want to talk about. But I think we're in a really good spot here in Tyngsborough. All right, so part 2 of 3, talking about SDI updates within our schools. Tonight we'll be talking about the middle schools, our theme of the night. So what you see on the screen here are things in addition to what I would say our ongoing SDI focal points are. So under our MTSS umbrella, we're still working on fine-tuning our IXL student system. We're still looking to update and provide more opportunities within our counseling department, our universal design for learning and instructional practices, creating effective professional development for our staff, making sure it's a worthwhile experience that they're getting something out of. And as we've talked about several times at this committee, the evaluation and coaching of our teachers, making sure that we're providing them with feedback that's going to be beneficial for them to become better and support our students. But some of the key SDI items that were highlighted from Mr. Meringer and Mr. Hook, as you see in front of you, to increase student achievement, implementing a new schedule that includes 3 grade level courses. And you heard CJ talk about one of her favorite courses is her Applications of Science Principles class. And that's a new class that we have this year, and it's meant to be more hands-on, focused on, going deeper in the content rather than just trying to cover everything, which we're responsible to do, but this gives us an opportunity to go a little bit deeper. And those students that truly love science in 8th grade, or it's writing in 6th grade, and it's mathematics in 7th grade, an opportunity to get more of that. It also allows us to close some gaps that might exist there in those particular subject areas for some students that develop naturally over the course of educational careers. So a lot of opportunities there, and so far, very good. Additionally, you see in there more consistent advisory and WIN. In our middle school, some of you may know it if you're parents, WIN wasn't always given to everyone in exactly the same way over the last couple of years. And I'm not blaming anyone for that. Things just evolve, and then you say, like, we need to break this down and put it back together. And so it's very consistent. All 3 grades have advisory and WIN twice and 3 times a week. And I think we heard WIN mentioned a couple times here with our students, the ability to catch up on things that they need to do, to get extra help if they need it. So that's really the purpose of that. You've heard us talk a little bit about pacing guides. That's really a lot of curriculum work that's happening. And it's meant to be curriculum work that supports not only the expectations that we have a scope and sequence of curriculum K through 12, but it's also user-friendly for the teachers, and it includes not only the standards, but the length of time that we're working on certain units, the universally designed practices that we've put in there, specialized instruction and supports for our special education population, our multilingual students, so that we are focused on all those things. And embedded within all of that are hyperlinks to activities and worksheets and supplemental materials, so that should someone leave this year and we need to hire someone else, that resource is there for them to pick right up and know exactly what the expectations are. So that's a really valuable process. It's painstaking and time-consuming for our staff, though. So we're making sure that we provide professional development time for them to work on those. Carryover from last year, which will continue to be important, is the retention of our students moving from the middle school to the high school. And again, making sure, as we talk about, they have opportunities for career pathways in vocational schools as well, but making sure they know what's available here at the high school. We've had a lot of success in just a year, last year, focusing on this, and we will continue to do that. And then, again, a carryover is to really cut down on student absenteeism. Recent absenteeism numbers have just come out, so overall in the district, we made improvements, but we want to see larger improvements. And so that will continue to be a major focal point, because we know when students are not in school, they're not learning. And chronic absenteeism has a direct impact on our test scores, our student experiences. So it is something worthwhile, and we'll continue to focus on that, not only at the middle school, but all of our schools. So that's the TMS SDI short version. The entire version is in the drive if you want to dig a little deeper. But are there any questions for me?
Talking about the chronic absenteeism, in the back of my head, I remember we had a big push a couple of years ago to kind of get more students in. And you're saying that you're seeing improvement in the numbers. Would it be possible to see what that has been in the 3 years?
Yeah, I think I shared those numbers like from one year to the next last year. When all of the data is released from the state,
perfect.
I'll put those out again. And I know for a fact, because I've seen the raw data, in 2 of 3 schools, we did see a decrease in chronic absenteeism, but by a very small amount. And we saw a bit of an uptick in absenteeism at the middle school last year. And so that's not because the administrations in all 3 buildings didn't really focus on that. It's just, we just kind of looked at what we didn't work as well as we wanted it to. So there's a much more proactive approach with students who could likely end up being considered chronically absent. So it's not like we tried this, didn't have the effect we wanted to, what else are we going to do? So really kind of growth mindset approach to it. But yeah, so we'll see how that goes, but I'd be happy to share those numbers when we get our final data.
Perfect. Thank you.
How do you define chronic absenteeism?
Chronic absenteeism is when we have students missing up to 20% of a school year, so almost 1 in 5. So we have chronic absenteeism, and there's almost like another level of chronic absenteeism. I forget what the term is, but almost like super chronic absenteeism. That's not what they call it. But I mean, it's significant, you know, more than what typical things. So if we see like 4 or 5 absences per trimester, that student won't be chronically absent. But if we see 7 or 8, that could lead to chronic absenteeism.
So our goal is to have 10% of students not miss up to 20% of their school days.
Yeah, so I think I think on first glance, now we have to dig into the numbers, it's about 14% at the middle school as of last year, so that we'd want to reduce that by at least 4%. And we're around 10%, again, raw numbers, at the other 2 schools, or at the elementary school, excuse me. So that went down and kind of stayed down. The middle school went down and then kind of popped back up. So it's not a trend. We don't know why yet, but we're examining, you know, some of the figures to see if we can identify. And then we can dig in deeper to, you know, the subgroups of students, you know, whether they're our high needs population, which I've talked about quite a lot, our special education population, our multilingual population, our low income students, you know, the subgroups, racially divided subgroups, to see if there's something that we're not doing or reaching out enough to meet the needs of those students to get them in. So communication is our first kind of line of defense, make sure we're communicating effectively home if we have concerns that we might be trending in that direction.
Thank you.
Sure.
And we get the whole state as a whole?
We do, yeah. Yeah, so we're below state average for chronic absenteeism, which is positive.
Are we seeing, or I know you got brought that up, but are we seeing an increase in middle schools versus elementary school, high schools? With that group was really the COVID group that's now moving to the middle school?
Right.
Yeah.
Just curious if middle schools are across the state worse than elementary and high school.
Well, I would say high school is always the worst. High school, typically, you have like we've talked about this, just a surge in absenteeism, otherwise known as senioritis, which tends to affect high school. I'm not looking at you yet. Tends to affect high school attendance. That's not atypical. It's typically the worst. It's a matter of like, all right, we know what it is. We just want to see improvement. So that's what we're focused on.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you.
9B, TPS policy discussion. Mr. Bushman?
Yep. If the committee will go to the subcommittee folder in the shared drive and under policy subcommittee for 2025/2026, 923, we have 3 policies. The first 2 are amended. The third one is a new policy. These will come up for first reading, and I guess to the will committee or the chair, if you want to vote on these each separately or take them all 3 together and approve as a first reading, you know, the will of the committee. I'll direct you to the first one. It's flag policy number 2. And we had done the flag policy last year, but I think this simplifies it a lot more. It intended to address flags allowed to be flown on the Tyngsborough Public Schools flagpoles and presented formally on stage at ceremonies such as graduation, moving on, etc. Superintendent is authorized to make a final determination about what constitutes a formal school ceremony. School committee authorizes the United States flag, Commonwealth of Mass, Town of Tyngsborough flags to be flown on school-owned flagpoles as an official expression of its government speech. No other flags shall be allowed to be flown on Tyngsborough Public School-owned flagpoles, as these flagpoles and this policy are not intended to establish or serve to create a forum for private expression. So this is strictly addressing it, as being on the flagpoles, not classrooms.
So if I just provide a little context to that as well, Mr. Chair, we did meet, we did receive the town flag policy last year, had a conversation with the town manager. The town flag policy was drafted by their town attorney, and it was approved, and essentially it's about government speech in front of the town hall. We adopted a similar policy last year. The question came up at our March 25th meeting by you, Mr. Chair. Does that apply to flags everywhere in general? And the answer was no. At that time, the discussion was, the intent and spirit of the policy was flagpoles in front of schools, which are government speech. So now we're just going to kind of define it a little bit cleaner and say it's still the flagpoles in front of schools, but also if we have flags on stage at an assembly, at a graduation, or a school-sponsored event, on stage presented, that's what we're talking about. Those are the flags we're talking about. We are not talking about flags in classrooms. That is not part of this policy. And it provides the superintendent some discretion so that there's a decision maker as to, is the policy really being enforced in the way that the school committee wants? So if there's a question about something, obviously I would consult the chair and the vice chair, as I do on everything. But that's the goal. It's just to tighten the policy up and clean it up. There was a lot of legalese in the last policy and left some room for interpretation, though that wasn't the intent. We're just trying to bring it back.
Thank you. I'll seek a motion to accept policies FG flags, JLCD student med administration as amended, and JG middle school pathway as a first read.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It carries 5-0-0. 9C, mass cell phone legislation and TPS
we've
next
got-
steps. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry, Bart.
No, we have two other policies, the JLCD, Student Medication Administration Policy. It was adding in for specific to emergency medication coming down from Department of Public Health and DESE in terms of personnel who have been properly trained may administer prescription and emergency medication to students at the school nurse's discretion and on a case-by-case basis as determined by school nurse and school physician. I believe we were talking about adding it as a new fourth paragraph to the existing policy.
Correct. So just essentially practice right now, a group goes away on a field trip. We can train somebody to administer prescription medication, but this policy expands the definition of medication, allows for certain emergency medications to be administered as well. So if we have a student that's medically fragile that's going to travel to Connecticut or New York or Washington, D.C., we'd be able to train one of our own staff members to administer the emergency medication as needed, and we wouldn't have to pay for a nurse or hire a nurse to go on that trip. And this is, I think this is a DESE or Mass General Law in response to the overwhelming budget impact that this could have on school districts throughout the Commonwealth.
Do you want to take this as a separate motion, or?
We already voted on all of them, but you can keep going.
Okay.
Yeah, the motion was for A, B, C, and D.
Okay. The third one is the new policy, JG, Tyngsborough Middle School Pathway Exploration Policy. And this relates to CTE, Career Technical Education, which is basically grade level. And this is coming from DESE and allowing the grade level to have access to the middle school in terms of we providing information regarding it, on-site visits, having mail and email correspondence, basically making the students aware of here's an option available to you as you're going through the middle school and preparing for high school, whether you want to stay at Tyngsborough High School, which we would approve, or maybe you're looking more for a trade and going for grade level. This has to be submitted to DESE on 11/1, and we would have a link on our webpage on October 1st. Any questions?
Pretty much, DESE said, here's the boilerplate, follow it, so we did. So that's how the draft came about, and it's pretty much things that we currently do. So I think one of the sticking points with the vocational schools or technical schools, was some districts weren't allowing kids to go tour the technical school during the school day, and this makes that accessible for all kids, provided they pay for the buses. Yeah, so it just codifies it.
Excellent.
And the last piece was the Town 9 legal definition changes, and we authorized Dr. Flanagan to go through and make any changes where it's basically a name change, as opposed to any real change in policy. So he will bring it back to the policy subcommittee.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bart. 9C, mass cell phone legislation and TPS next steps. Dr. Flanagan?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So on the projector now, on the screen now, you'll see kind of a backward design model of how we can kind of get to a policy. As we know, there's mass legislation that has significant traction. There's more work that's been done on that. What we're seeing now is several senators have splintered off and put in their own little caveat into different bills. So there is certainly momentum going with cell phone policy legislation that we'll need something in place by the fall of next year. That being said, to really be as informed as possible for the policy subcommittee to draft some kind of policy, it's important to hear from stakeholders. So what we did was we reached out to our staff this past week and provided a survey to them, which we'll share the results in a minute. And then tomorrow, we're going to send a survey to middle school and high school students to talk about and solicit their input around cell phones and cell phone usage in school. Once we have that information, we will then send something out to the community. We'll gather that, we'll bring it back, and we'll make a formal presentation in October about all of this information. But I did want to share a couple of slides with you as you look at some of the survey questions and the responses. And I think, this one right here, this first question really was about the level of use. And I think one of the interesting things is if you look at the bottom left, 63% of the high school staff deems cell phones to be a significant problem in the high school. And I won't read every graph to you. You can do that on your own. Second question, I think one of the things that was telling, talks about what does it do? Does it decrease engagement? 93% of the high school staff said it significantly impacts and decreases engagement. 80% of the middle school staff says it significantly decreases or draws from engagement for students in the classroom. And the elementary school, cell phones aren't a prevalent issue or a prevalent problem at the elementary school, so that number goes down to 31%. As you look at the next graph, just one takeaway on that was when the students are using cell phones, school-related versus non-school-related material that they're looking at or using it for, 90% of the high school is non-school related, 100% of the middle school staff said it's non-school related, and 85% of the elementary school, when students use them, it's non-school related. Question number 4 is talking about, would you support cell phone restrictions? And 60% of the high school, and I thought this was interesting, because one of the options is a complete ban on cell phones. Another option is they need to be put away. And another option is allowed use during non-instructional times. 60% of the high school staff thinks that students should be able to use their phones during non-instructional times. Middle school, it was 45% of them, that was the majority, who said they should be locked and put away for the day. So again, interesting perspectives from the 3 schools, just to dive into that. And the last question, question number 5, really talks about how effective you think a cell phone policy would be. Very effective, 80% at the high school, and 2/3 of the staff at the middle school said very effective. And I'm not discounting the elementary school, it's just that cell phones aren't in abundance at the elementary school like they are at both the middle and the high school. And certainly the high school, you see them more often than anyone else. And to no fault of anyone, we haven't had a policy, and we've been silent on it. And the thought process has been, and the mindset has been, to teach kids to use it responsibly. And during COVID, cell phones were used as instructional technology in the classroom. So I understand why 80% of the high school, 65%, whatever it was, I apologize, thinks that limiting during non-instructional time or allowing the teacher some control and autonomy to make decisions as when the cell phones would be appropriate, that makes sense to me. So that's the feedback from the staff. It'll be interesting to see what the students say next week. And again, we're just going to survey middle school and high school students. And then we're going to put it out to the greater community with this information. We're going to say, here's what the staff thinks, here's where the kids are, where are you folks, moms and dads, and parents and guardians. And then we'll kind of call that information, come back to this committee, full committee, with a presentation of the information, and then the policy subcommittee will have some work to do to develop a policy that A, meets DESI requirements, and B, reflects the wants and desires of this community. So, we have a couple months ahead of us, but my hope is by November, if not December, we're back here with at least a first bite of the apple, and this is a potential policy that we could have conversation about. And if we need more information, we'll get more information. If we want to see policies from other school districts and practices and procedures in other school districts, we can have those conversations as well. But this is kind of the first step in cell phones.
Dr. Flanagan, just a question came to mind. Do we know how many IEP students maybe use cell phone as, technology assistance in the classroom?
Sure, so there are exceptions and exclusions built into every piece of legislation for that. Also for students who use it as a medical device.
Right.
So those would, certainly, they would have access 24/7. Do I know how many exactly? I don't off the top of my head, but I do know that the legislation does have exclusions for that, exceptions for that.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Finance, Mr. Messina.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So tonight we had 8 warrants presented to the committee tonight. I do have them all back signed. As always, in your drive is the list of the warrant numbers, accounts, and amounts. And tonight, we're actually presenting a corrected warrant on that list. The bills you signed at your last meeting, we actually brought them back, and before we got them over to Town Hall, we did notice a vendor that had a duplicate invoice. It was about $140 for a cross-country meet entry fee. We pulled that from the warrant, thus reducing it, so we didn't pay that twice. So this amount just reflects that $140 less than what was presented to you at the last meeting. In terms of signing of payroll, nothing tonight, but also in the financial package is the Valley Collaborative quarterly newsletter and their quarterly financials. I think Mr. Woodlock, if you had a chance to pull up the newsletter, or if anybody has seen the newsletter, Tyngsborough's own Ray Busby is the cover person this quarter with Dr. Scott, who's the executive director at Valley Collaborative, Tyngsborough resident, Tyngsborough High worker. You'll see him in the halls here. A great piece of what Valley Collaborative does and means to us as a partner with our educational needs, and Ray's a great person to have on campus. So encourage you all to go through that newsletter. And that's it from me.
Thanks, Jeff.
Well,
School committee discussion, Cameron?
I'm all set, thank you.
I'd just like to start off wishing everyone a happy, healthy new year. It's second day of Rosh Hashanah started tonight. The middle school students did a great presentation. Thank you to them, the parents, and the administration. And I'd just like to give a personal thank you to Dr. Flanagan. My son was in. We had a family wedding this past weekend, so actually both son and daughter are in. And when we moved to Tyngsborough 25 years ago, both of my kids went to just the high school, but they're very well aware of the middle school. And Dr. Flanagan was very nice to take us on a tour of the middle school. And I can say my son was absolutely impressed with the school. He was a theater and communication major in college. He literally loved the STEM classrooms, the neighborhood classrooms, seeing the students sitting and collaborating with each other, and particularly the black box theater. That really stood out to him. So he wanted to say great job to everyone. It's a terrific looking school. Thank you.
Just thank the middle school kids for coming out and their parents for bringing them. And that's it for me.
Nothing, thank you.
almost set. Thank you.
I also want to just thank the middle school students for coming out. Their parents should be very proud. They did a great job. And I just want to say congratulations to Cameron for Student of the Month.
Thank you.
Echo what everybody said about the middle school kids tonight. It's always awesome to see them come out. And I feel like this particular middle school group this year was very polished. All that work that Jocelyn Mitchell does with them at the elementary school level is really starting to shine through as they get older. So great job to them. Ryan alluded to earlier, I toured the middle school and the high school with kids in the building last week with he and Dr. Flanagan, and boy, oh boy, what a different vibe it is to walk through the buildings with kids in it. The middle school especially was just so vibrant, and seeing the sixth graders come to lunch and it's a huge addition to this community. And so just thank you to the committee and to the community for all of your support and votes on that. Just awesome. That's all I got.
Congrats, Student of the Month, and congrats to our class officers whose photos are in the display cabinet on the way up. So if you want to check out our class officers there. Middle school kids did a great job, and tons of exciting things going on at Tyngsborough Elementary School, too. I can't wait to hear them present at our next meeting.
Congrats, Cam. Also want to thank the middle school kids for coming out and speaking tonight. Like Danielle said, we toured the middle school last week. I can't get over the difference in feeling when you walk through that building. The old middle school was claustrophobic. You felt very closed in. There's students sitting in the hallway because they didn't have room in the classrooms. You walk in these classrooms and there's just so much space, and the ceilings are high and the hallways are wide and the windows are so big. There's so much light in there. We talked a lot about the theater, but there's a full-on wood shop in there with really cool tools and the 3D printer lab, the kiln. It's just so much technology in the school. It's absolutely unbelievable. I want to come hang out there and build some stuff. So I'm really glad to hear that the kids liked it. It would have been really awkward if they came in and said they hated it. Oops. Yeah, I think that's a win. So with that, we do have a need for executive session to discuss the reputation, character, physical condition, or mental health rather than professional competence of an individual, or to discuss the discipline or dismissal of, or complaints or charges brought against a public officer, employee, staff member, or individual. We will return from the executive session only to adjourn the regular session meeting. I am seeking a motion to enter into the executive session. This action will require a roll call vote.
So moved.
In favor?
In favor?
In favor?
In favor.
Have a good night.